And somehow, 22-year-olds on TikTok found that letter and they started talking about it. And they were like, oh my God, I was never told this before. He didn't attack us because he hates us for our freedom. He says specifically here why they're attacking us. And in other words, they were reading a historical document and discussing it, things that you would want a free citizenry to do. But the fear that they were allowed to not only read, but talk about that document with one another was so intense that in 48 hours, they forced TikTok to ban every discussion of that letter, to remove the hashtags to find it, to take down any post or accounts that were talking about it. And then The Guardian, a news outlet, removed that letter, which had been there for 20 years, which was of obvious historical and journalistic importance. They removed it from their website because they were too frightened that people were going to be able to read it. Why? Because it prevents the propagandistic narrative from being unchallenged. And that's the same with Russia and Ukraine. That shows you how we think we're so free. We hear so much dissent because you have a Republican and Democrat bickering on a cable show about trivial things. You're like, oh, look, we have free debates, open debates. They don't get to have that in Russia and China. But the minute there's information that actually threatens the government, that they fear people understanding, they clamp down on it and suppress it. And that's what they did there.
You wonder why we put up with that. You wonder why we put up with a government that continues to keep secret files about 9/11. It's been 23 years. What could possibly be the justification for not telling me information that I own and have a right to see, which is what the hell was that? And they constantly lecturing people.
Even the JFK files.
Well, especially the JFK file, but much more immediate. It was 23 years ago, but I mean, we're both adults. We remember it very well.
Yeah, I lived in Manhattan. I mean, it was like, I was traumatized by that. It was a horrible event.
Exactly.
And then a lot happened. Our country changed radically because of it. To this day, the Patriot Act exists.
Well, it's never been the same country. And in some ways, it was much more successful in its aims than I even want to admit to myself, because it's so sad to see what it did to this country.